We have a Glock pistol. We're going to check to make sure that it is in fully functional and proper operating condition. Our pistol we're using today is a Glock 23 40 caliber 3rd generation pistol, but this is the standard check for all 4 Glock generation pistols. We're going to start by checking to make sure that the slide lock, this lever on both sides of the pistol, does not pull down when the slide is forward. If the slide is to the rear, 1/4 inch, it should come down. You heard it snap back into place. It's good to go. The next thing we're going to check is the recoil spring. We're going to make sure that the chamber is cleared. We're going to pull the trigger. Then, holding the pistol vertically, we're going to work the slide to the rear and then walk it back up until it almost stops and then let go. The slide should come all the way forward into the full battery. This pistol is showing more than likely some signs of a worn out recoil spring. That happens about 2,500 rounds, 5,000 rounds on a new Glock. So we would want to check this pistol to see if it maybe would benefit a new spring. The other thing we want to check is to make sure that the firing pin is free inside of the slide. There should be no oil inside of the slide that would cause the firing pin to bind up when it gets dirty. So we're going to pull the trigger again. We're going to move the slide, the whole gun, forwards and backwards. You can hear the tink of the firing pin as it comes forward. That means the firing pin is indeed free and working properly. Okay, we have a Glock pistol. It's a 23. It failed our check to return to battery, which means the recoil spring more than likely is worn out. Now, you can take this to a certified Glock Armorer or a gunsmith and have them perform the check and give their evaluation. If you know the round count and you are pretty positive that it's upwards of 5,000 rounds and you may benefit from a new recoil spring, we can simply disassemble the firearm by pulling the trigger, making our OK symbol, moving the slide 1/4 inch to the rear, pull down on the slide lock, and off with the slide. This is our standard field strip. The recoil spring comes out. You will notice the recoil spring has the standard Glock part number. You could contact Glock or brownells.com, order a new recoil spring, and replace it in your firearm yourself. One other potential problem on this particular firearm, we noticed a decent amount of burrs on the front of the frame where the slide would come back and make contact with the frame. These burrs could potentially be causing a problem. If you notice something like this out of the ordinary on your pistol, I highly recommend you take it to a certified person as to avoid you doing it yourself and voiding your lifetime Glock warranty. If you feel very comfortable working on your own pistol, you could simply knock these burrs down. Potential problem of these burrs is that they would actually be causing excess friction here in the slide, in this portion, that while in normal operation allows the slide has enough energy to travel forward, but in our specific check it's binding just enough to prevent the slide from returning home and allowing the gun to fully go into battery. Okay, so now we've discovered our burrs. We're going to attempt to knock them down and see if we can indeed get the Glock to go back to its normal functioning. I have a super fine file, that way I will not remove that much material with a single pass. The most important part of this operation is our frame rails, the metal component that locks into the frame and keeps the slide and frame together is in very close proximity to the part that we're attempting to file. So we do not want to hit them. Because of that, I'm going to work in very small strokes, choked up on the file, and move little small tiny portions at a time. I will flip the frame around as I am right-handed and prefer to work right to left. We want to ensure that we have removed the burrs below the level of the frame rails to ensure that the burrs are no longer hitting on the side of the slide. So while filing, I should notice scrape marks in the direction the file is traveling, and I should also see that my file will start to collect the pieces of plastic that it is removing. Some chips, parts of the plastic, will fall away, but you can see the definite marks from the file. That is why I'm using a very fine file. A rough file would not only move more material more quickly, but would leave larger scratches behind after done using the file. One of the potential things here is that Glock's frame rails are molded into the frame itself. If we file the frame rails and ruin our frame rails, we have ruined the entire firearm. This is essential that you just barely kiss these front pieces of plastic, and if you are in any way not comfortable, take it to your nearest professional. Here we have our Glock 23 40 caliber pistol that was previously not returning to battery when we were doing our recoil spring check. We believe that our recoil spring was within spec, having recently purchased it. Upon disassembly, we noticed some burrs in the frame. We removed them using our nice little ultra-fine file here, and we are now going to recheck the pistol. We have previously already checked that the pistol is indeed clear. We're going to move straight on to pulling the trigger, moving the slide to the rear, walking the slide up, and you will see that although it returns slowly, it does indeed return to the battery position, meaning that the work we did with our file did indeed help the function of the firearm. Okay, this is one of my finer, narrower files that I use. It's a number 2 file. I believe the manufacturer is Gobert Velour. I buy them from Brownells. You'll see that it's very narrow. It can fit into a lot of places. It's very fine, so you don't get a rough cut. Its finish can easily be moved on to a piece of sandpaper to remove its scratches. It is also smooth on one side, so you only file the surface that you are touching from the top. You don't have to worry about making a channel wider or anything like that you would hit with this file.